to discuss his perspective on the West White Rose extension. Independent member of the House, Mount Pearl-Southlands, Paul Lane. Paul, you're on the air.
Good morning, Paddy. How are you this morning?
Top shelf today, you?
I'm best kind, my friend, best kind. Paddy, I just had a couple of comments I wanted to make, and I guess it sort of relates to the White Rose extension. And I do have another little subject as well, which I just want a quick second for if we can get through it. But anyway, in terms of the White Rose extension, and I guess the concern I have, and it's not just about this project, but it's about other things I'm seeing happening as well. For example, the Grieg aquaculture project is another. We're in a situation, obviously, as we know, that, from a financial point of view, that we're in a hole. I mean, everybody realizes that, and we realize the need for, jobs and economic development and to bring more revenues into the province. And of course, we have to do much better, on the expenditure side, which is another topic that I could talk about at another time. But anyway, I mean, I think we all see this as a positive in general, but the concern I have is that we cannot put ourselves in a situation out of desperation, and whether it be desperation for jobs and economic development, or whether it be political desperation to create some good news and so on. I just don't want to see us taking less for our resources than we should be getting. Now, I didn't sit around the negotiating table, nor did you, so we can't say for certain exactly what was on the table and what was, added and what was taken off the table. But I do know that I've certainly received numerous, emails and calls and so on from tradespersons who are very concerned with the fact that we're going to see an awful lot of work that could have been done in this province, particularly given the fact now that, we have sites sitting idle at Bullarm and so on, and Marystown, where more work could be done, and we're seeing a lot of that work on this White Rose extension project going out of province. And I just think, I just have a concern about that, obviously, but also when we look at things like the Grieg aquaculture project, I mean, I want to see aquaculture succeed just as much as anyone else, and it's going to bring a lot of jobs and so on, and I'm very, very happy for the people on the Burin Peninsula. But when we see the fact that full environmental assessment was not completed, then that just gives me pause to think and to have some concern. And when I've raised it in the House of Assembly, of course, the heckling you get from the other side is, oh, so you're against the people of the Burin Peninsula. Oh, you're against aquaculture. You're against economic development.
But we can dismiss some of that foolishness. Yeah. This is government's own fault on this one. Yeah. Whether or not the Grieg plan is solid or sound or environmentally responsible, the fact is that the government unnecessarily did away with the environmental assessment process and just allowed the project to proceed on its application. There are some so-called controls in place, but when we have such legitimate historical worst-case scenarios that have presented themselves, whether it be in British Columbia, Chile, Scotland, other places, if we know this is true, then why not, for the comfort of the people and protection of the environment, and God forbid our investment, and I still don't know where that lands with that $45 million that they were talking about putting in that, there has to be an environmental assessment. There's just no wiggle around this. And when government invests an equity stake in a project which they've released for an environmental assessment, they are also the arbiter for regulatory controls and inspections. There's something patently wrong and stupid with that approach. There just is. So the Grieg bit, I think, is a lot different than it is in the oil business. Insofar as then we'll go back to the jobs. The enviro bit, even if it remains in the hands where I think it belongs, at the CNLOPB, there's a federal component. It's a partnership entity. It's not just us making political decisions. It's a regulatory body with safety and benefits and enviro concerns that are all taken very seriously. I have personal experience with them. But the jobs bit, look, as soon as we said no more giveaways, everyone thought that meant refineries onshore, secondary, tertiary processing, minerals and seafood and the like, and there would never be a spoonful leaving and every job would be here, when some of that might not actually be attainable.
Yeah, exactly, Paddy. And I realize that, and I guess the bottom line is, not sitting around that table and being part of that negotiations. I can only speculate, and I don't know what was ever on the table and what was put on the table, what was taken off the table. But I guess the overall theme, I guess, of what I'm saying as it relates to whether it be the White Rose Extension Project, whether it be Grieg Agriculture and so on, obviously there are benefits to be derived from both of them. We need those benefits. We need the royalties. We need the jobs. It's all a good thing, and I'm not questioning that. I think it's wonderful. But I guess all I'm saying is that we cannot, because we find ourselves in a state, I don't know if I want to use the word desperation, but in a tough situation, economically, financially, and so on, we cannot forego due diligence. We cannot forego environmental assessment. We cannot simply, give away jobs unnecessarily, or find ourselves where we're giving in too much to the other side on the bargaining table because we're A, desperate for employment, and B, we're desperate politically to make some good deals. And that's all I'm saying.
I think everyone agrees with that. Some people
being fair about it.
Well, it sounds fairly pragmatic to me.
Yeah.
Some people think that there's a way to put some sort of independent body in place that does the negotiating for these deals, whether it be for where the jobs are, the ultimate benefits agreements, equity and royalties, environmental assessments, and the like, to take the politics out. I don't know if that could actually work or if it sounds like the right idea. There's a lot of right in that idea because, politicians will make bad decisions based on the need to get reelected. So we know that influence. But, if we left stuff on the table just to announce it, then shame on whoever's involved. If we did the best we could to get a deal done, then it's hard to know when you're not there or a fly on the wall or a voice at the table. But, Paul, I think everyone understands those concerns. I'm off to the news, but I appreciate your call.
Paddy, not a problem. Before I go, I just want to make a very, very quick point if I can, and that is we've spoken before about the Auditor General and the forensic audit of Nalcor. Minister Cody came out, said she was open to the idea, but she wanted to wait to see what the Auditor General was going to come back with because he's in there.
Yeah.
I just want to say I spoke to the Auditor General personally about a week ago. He is not, and I repeat, he is not looking into anything that has anything to do with Muskrat Falls. He's looking at basically routine Nalcor operations, so there is no reason whatsoever why we should be waiting on that forensic audit. Let's get it done. Let's get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, and we always knew that to be the case anyway. That is absolutely politics in place while we're waiting on something we know is not even being considered.
Absolutely. It's just kicking the can down the road and hoping it goes away, and it's not going to.
Thanks, Paul.
Have a good one, Paddy.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, time for the